Okay, welcome. We are going to have a lovely, relaxing, restorative practice this evening, and we'll start lying down on our mats in Shavasana. I have two blocks and a pillow that you can have any other props, or if you don't have the props, it's not a big deal. You can just make modifications as you need. And I'm going to start on my back in Shavasana, but I'm going to use my pillow underneath my knees just because I find that's really nice to release my lower back and really help me drop into an easeful state. There are a lot of other options if you wanted to have a small thing underneath your head just to give yourself a little lift through the back of the neck. If you want to use the blocks underneath the knees, get creative and figure out how to make yourself really comfortable in this prone position. And maybe you're waggling the feet back and forth, just really loosen up the whole leg bones. And then when they come to stillness, you can feel the weight of the bones and the muscles dropping down to the earth. The heels are heavy. And feel the breath really come into the body now. When you inhale, feel it rise, filling the lower belly and the chest and the upper lungs. And then exhale, it flows out and the body relaxes. And as we breathe here, we may start to notice other like slight unevennesses in our spinal alignment. So as the mood strikes you or the urge takes you, feel free to nestle the shoulders underneath or any lift the hips and make any adjustments to really just find a nice long supported line through the spine. You can really, really, really just feel the whole body relaxing down into the earth. The shoulder blades get heavy. The backs of the hands are heavy. And again, tuning into the breath as it flows through the body, letting it refresh and replenish the energy. Every exhale, letting go of something unnecessary attention or tensions. And maybe after a few moments here, you're just want to check in with the cervical spine going up from the shoulders to the head. And you can just gently roll the head from side to side, noticing what happens if you tilt the chin up or down. Just be really gradual and gentle with yourself. Massaging the back of the skull against the mat. See if you can relax the eyelids. And when you're ready, let the movement slow down. And let the head just find its natural central resting point. Feel the whole face just relax. Letting go of the masks that we wear throughout the day and just coming to rest and be. At any point in the practice, if it feels good, just take an open mouth exhale. From the central resting position, let's just begin with some pranayama or breath exercise. And we're just going to do even breaths with holds at the top and the bottom. And throughout our practice, we'll approach this breath from a few different poses. So starting here, let your breath empty completely. And then inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding empty for 4, 3, 2, 1. Then inhaling 4, holding 4, exhale 4, hold out 4, inhale 4, keep going, holding at the top 4, exhaling for 4, holding empty for 4. Just flow with it. Feeling the body coming into alignment at a subtle level. And when you exhale, just turn the breath around and breathe normally. Eliminating those holds at the top and the bottom and just feeling the inhales and exhales flow freely and deeply. Turn the toes to point up towards the sky and then gather your knees into the chest. And really let the hands be heavy against the knees so they drop down into the belly as your shoulder heads drop down into the earth beneath you. Feeling the breath in the belly expanding against the legs. and then contracting as you exhale. One more inhale. And then exhale, let the arms open, let the knees fall over to one side, and they can fall together. If this is not a twist that feels nice in your body, just find another like simple, easy twist that will allow you to relax and open through the left side of the body, or whatever side of the body you're twisting to. And if you'd like to get a little twist into the neck, you can turn your face in the opposite direction of the knees. And again, if this is somewhere where you want to use a prop in some capacity at any time, just really feel free to make your own adjustments and make the practice work for you. And you feel the hips releasing into the earth and the shoulders spreading against the earth. Breathing into the space in the belly for a couple more breaths on this side. And when you come to an inhale, let the knees rise through center. Wrap the hands around the tops of the legs, the knees, and take a few breaths here, just feeling the breath in the body, feeling the spine aligned in the center. Reharmonizing the body and the mind through the breath. Inhaling. And then exhale, your knees fall over to the opposite side, taking the twist. Allowing the body to fall open in our pose. Every exhale, releasing attention or tension that's unnecessary to the practice. And understanding the practice to be the practice of relaxation, moving towards liberation. had a friend post on their social media this week that they spent an entire hour in just a simple twist, 30 minutes on one side, 30 on the other. And this really feels delicious. I can understand how it would be so wonderful for the body just to spend that amount of time with this simple movement. And maybe we'll have a practice like that soon, but for today, the next time you come to an inhale, let the knees rise through center. Hug them in towards the body. A few breaths to realign and recenter in this familiar place. And then if you're ready, when you're ready, you can bring the soles of the feet together and grab onto the ankles, just pulling the heels down towards the groin, with the knees open to either side. A gentle opening through the hips, feeling this downward movement and the breath in the body. The Apana Vayu, the letting go, the downwind. Shoulders are heavy on the earth, the hips are heavy on the earth. The face is relaxed and the breath is flowing freely and deeply. If it's calling to you, we can take a half happy baby. I'm going to grab onto the outer edge of my right foot and bring the sole of the foot up towards the sky. The knee bends down towards the ground, coming outside of the right side of the body. As the foot flexes up to the sky, the shoulder relaxes. Breathing and being in this pose. Just for a few breaths. Next time you find an exhale, let that light come down through center, and then let the inhale transition you to the happy baby on the other side. So the left side for me, foot flexes up towards the sky, shoulder like it's magnetized to the ground, like there's a root pulling it down towards the ground. Even if it lifts up a little, just feel the root reaching down towards the earth. And the same with the knee, as if you could feel roots growing down like banyan tree through the air, reaching towards the earth, towards that nourishing groundwater beneath in the core. One more inhale. And then exhale, releasing to center. Let the knees come back in towards the chest. And gently roll off to whatever side is convenient and rest there just for a moment, feeling the side of the body spread out against the earth. Tapping again into the Apana Vayu, the downward wind, that grounded flow. And without losing that connection, pushing up to a seated position and extending the legs forward to begin, finding a staff pose. And this is somewhere where you may feel that it's quite nice to prop up on a pillow, even if you may not quote unquote need to. It just could be really restoring to not have to strive so hard as we move into some forward folds. Beginning just very simply with simple forward fold. Finding an inhale to lift the heart, lift the chest, lift the crown of the head. And then exhale, straighten forward. And just letting yourself sort of flop into the pose with the torso. Keeping the backs of the legs long, keeping the feet flexed. Sensing the line that rises from the heels all the way through the back of the legs, through the hips, and then all the way up the spine to the crown of the head. Breathing into that line. And relaxing here. You can let go of the effort in the back of the legs and the feet. Let go of any effort through the shoulders and the chest, any effort in the face. Taking off that mask again, letting the skin be heavy. Allowing the muscles to fall away from the bones. Feel the scalp soften. And most of all, just feel the mind empty, pouring out of the crown of the head. Any unnecessary attentions. And notice how the sensation in the pose evolves as we stay here for still some more time, probably about 10 more breaths. And of course, if it gets too intense, backing off. But otherwise, hanging in and just noticing the experience, having it directly. Not finding the distractions. And using an inhale, unfurl the spine, coming back to sitting tall. Feel the vertebrae stacked on top of each other. And at the top of the breath, as you exhale, just feel the shoulders relax. And the sides of the neck nice and long. Bending the knees, bringing the soles of the feet to the earth. Planting the hands behind you. The fingers can point towards the hips or they can point or out towards the sides. I'm just going to shift my orientation so more comfortable. Feeling the connection of the hands and the feet into the earth. Feeling the heart lift, the shoulder blades roll down the back. You can stay here and breathe and be quite happy. Or if you'd like, you can press up into a reverse tabletop, lifting the hips up to the sky, opening through the chest, feeling the breath resonate through the body. An oppositional pose to that forward fold. If it feels good, you can drop the head back and open the neck. Making sure the breath is flowing freely without effort. One more inhale. Exhale, lowering the hips back down towards the earth. Crossing the legs, and from here we're going to set up for a pigeon pose, half pigeon pose. I'm going to use my pillow underneath my hips to make it very comfy. And I'm also going to use my 2 blocks underneath my armpits. And I'm going to start with them on their highest setting. And we're going to go from there. So setting up first with a tabletop position. And you can feel free to take some intuitive movements through the spine, hip circles, cat cows, but really finding the center here first. And then coming to a firm tabletop. Extend the right leg back, pressing the ball of the foot down. Feel the heel press back, feel the back of that right leg open. And you can kind of saw back and forth there and just feel the stretch coming in, blood pumping. Inhale, lift the toes up off the earth. And then exhale, bending the knee and swinging it forward. So it comes to cross across the top of the mat. The knee comes outside of that right wrist. And figure out what makes sense in your body. Your heel may come back towards your hip more. You may have chin more in line with the top of the mat. It's just totally a matter of what is comfortable and sustainable. Again, take the time to prop yourself up. I really like this pillow here. It really supports the hips and gives it something to release down into. And then from here, taking an inhale, the spine will lengthen, and exhale will drape forward. And if you are using your blocks underneath your armpits, just get them situated, and you can let the head hang down, maybe stacking the palms to give yourself something to rest the head on or the fists. Or if it feels okay or better, just let the head hang down. Surrender to it and let the body surrender to these points where it's grounded. I'm actually going to turn my blocks down a level to find a more comfortable angle for my head. And the blocks under the armpits really kind of bring some release into our shoulders and likewise traveling up into the neck. And sense the breath as it moves through the body. Notice where your attention settles in the body. riding the wave and experiencing this pose for a couple of minutes. If at any point it gets uncomfortable to hold this pose, if this pose is just something you don't like ever, always feel free to just take figure 4, coming onto the back, or you can take a seated hip opener, like a cross-legged forward fold. You can even sit in the chair and just cross your right ankle over your left knee. And press the right knee down towards the earth. Just feel some hip opening. As you're ready, push up, set your props to the side. Shifting back to a tabletop position. And allowing the body to move freely in order to come back to center in tabletop position. When you're ready, stretching the left toes back, pressing the ball mound of the foot down into the earth, and pressing the heel backwards, then rolling forward, just stretching the foot, stretching the back of the leg. Inhale, lifting that left leg up. Exhale, bringing the left shin forward for your pigeon pose, setting yourself up. Whatever variation you chose. Once you've got the general setting of the legs, inhale. The spine lengthens, and exhale, you fold forward. Settle in. Nestling in. allowing the mind to just abide in the breath. And when you're ready, inhaling, lift away from the ground, setting the props aside. From here, we're going to shift into a child's pose. So again, if you like props, use your props. If you just want to drape forward and keep it simple, that's great. And once we land here, let's return to that counted breath. Just first taking a few moments to really get yourself aligned, though, paying attention to what your body needs to be supported and comfortable. When you reach the end of your next exhale, hold it out. And let's inhale together for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold out for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then start again. You know how to do it. One more round. And let the breath come freely into the body. Feeling the armpits releasing towards the earth. really looks heavy. Feeling the release in the third eye point, the forehead releasing. And now coming up to sit. And we're going to spend a little time here just in a seated meditation. If you prefer to sit in a cross-legged seat, you may. If you want a block or 2 blocks underneath the seat between the ankles, please. Just finding somewhere where you can sit and find center. And abide in the breath. Somewhere you can just be at rest. And we have done a lot of work through the beginning of the practice to find the central line, to really get in tune with our body's alignments and our body's needs. So now just letting this intelligence that we've curated through the practice express itself naturally. Let the body find its level, find its evenness. Finding the equality, finding the union between mind and body and breath. And all is as it should be. And if you would like, we'll spend the rest of the practice in a Shavasana, the resting position on our backs, where we began. If you prefer to stay in a seated meditation for another 5 minutes, by all means. If you prefer to take a couple of poses that are calling to your body before you settle into Shavasana, by all means. Just really giving ourselves a lot of time at the back of the practice to appreciate the ground, to connect with the ground. Tomorrow is the full moon, very untethered time of the month. It's nice to take the space and the breath and the attention and apply it to finding ease, and finding connection with the self. Just really settle into that. Just like from where we began, you can kind of check in with every part of the body, moving up from the feet, the hips, to the shoulders and torso, in the middle of the spine, and then up into the cervical spine, and do it in your own time with your own breath. Knowing you have plenty of time to rest. And feeling free to remain here, log off, pause the video, just shut it down and stay relaxed. Or if you're ready to close the practice and would like to close it with me, bring a deeper breath into the body and let that breath turn into movement. And eventually let the body roll over onto one side and rest. And then maintaining that restfulness, pushing up to a seated position, bringing the hands together at heart center, keeping the eyes closed, bowing the chin in. Just appreciating the connections that the practice allows for. Connection of mind to body, to breath. The connection between us practitioners, us friends, the connections between us and the moon, and us and every other thing in the world. And appreciating the freedom that can be found within the relations, the interconnectedness, the all, the universal. Inhaling for Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bowing forward to close the practice. Namaste.